Today I'm going to be doing something a little bit different. I'm going to be talking about the Freedom Convoy that's taking place in Canada and how the media has been smearing it, how the government is trying to get them to stop, and even how YouTube is trying to suppress live streams covering it. Welcome back, everyone. Ian K here, and today we're going to be talking about some good news for a change, which is the Canadian Freedom Convoy. Now, one of the things I always talk about is things we can do to go and fight back against the system, things like the Great Reset, policies that are getting implemented that we don't need or want, and the Freedom Convoy is a really good example of how the average citizen can fight back against tyranny. Now, if you don't know what's going on in Canada, they have been implementing a lot of very draconian measures to go and fight COVID-19, one of which is vaccine mandates, forcing truckers that are entering or leaving Canada to have the vaccine. So the truckers are fighting back, and they started the Freedom Convoy, going through and clogging up the roads and the highways, and they made it all the way to the capital, which is Ottawa. Now, the issue here is if you've been listening to the lamestream media, you would think that this is some terrible, violent, racist protest, which it is absolutely not. As always, there is misinformation that is being spread by the mainstream media about what the average person is trying to do to fight against tyranny. So here is a perfectly good example of what I'm talking about, coming from MSNBC. We all know this is going to be a trash fire because it's MSNBC.
The capital of Canada to a standstill. Dozens of trucks and other vehicles could be seen blocking the downtown area of Ottawa as protesters rallied against vaccine mandates, masks, and lockdowns.
That seems like an interesting way to spend your weekend.
Right off the bat, this is going to be pretty obvious as you go and watch the video. These people don't like you. They don't like the average citizen. They look down on you, and it's pretty apparent by the way they speak and the way they hold themselves. As you can see, she has her arms crossed. It's pretty clear that she doesn't want to be talking about this. She doesn't want to talk about people fighting for their literal freedoms, which is what is going on in Canada. And the other guy, oh yeah, this is a funny way of spending your weekend. Fighting for your freedoms, fighting for your liberties. Oh, that is such an odd way to spend the weekend. Let's continue.
The demonstrations were initially aimed at pushback against vaccine mandates for truck drivers crossing the U.S.-Canada border. But the movement escalated into an expression of disapproval with the Canadian government's COVID-19 policies.
Well then, imagine that. People going and peacefully protesting something that they don't like that the government is doing. Who would have thought? Fiery but peaceful protest.
Officials say several investigations are underway into reports of severe vandalism and criminal behavior, including the desecration of national monuments.
Imagine that. Going and desecrating national monuments. Seriously, this is stupid. This is what they're calling desecration. How dare the plebeians go and deface these national monuments because they what the government is doing to them. Desecration my ass.
Meanwhile, Ottawa Mayor Jim Watson said some protesters harassed a soup kitchen, demanding free meals because their refusal to wear masks meant they were not to order in restaurants.
That, by the way, was a complete lie. I'm going to go and play a clip from my live stream where I talk to my good friend Script Doctor, and he explains the situation. Oh, by the way, he actually lives in Canada.
Because I know the provincial law right now, no restaurant can deny service for takeout regarding masks or vaccines. And the thing is, none of these truckers are eating inside restaurants. They're all grabbing stuff and going back to their truck or going back to the streets to get their message out. So we know that part's a lie.
And if you want more proof, there's actually video from the scene.
Truckers are giving away free food right here, as you can see.
That soup kitchen tweeted COVID protesters were given meals to defuse the conflict and that this weekend's events have caused significant strain on our operations at an already difficult time.
So these anti-vaxxers actually took food from the mouths of the homeless.
Hungry, yeah.
Oh my God, the smug that is coming off of this asshole. Oh, by the way, that part about the soup kitchen is also a lie.
And then I think even some of the people at the soup kitchen said they had already served all the people that they normally serve who are homeless who need the food, and they gave the extra that they normally dispose of to the people at the protest voluntarily. And now that this mayor is trying to,
it's a lie.
Manipulate that fact into something malicious, which it's not.
Lies.
Which was taken by a trucker who brought it to one of his trucks, which was left it there for everybody else that was passing by to get food.
Yeah, everybody else got from it. And then other truckers brought their own food and stuff and set up things for people who are joining in on the protest to come and help themselves.
Wow. Because they're so put upon. Because they have a vaccine. I'm just curious, again, where were these protests when people were required to get 5 vaccines?
And this next part is wonderful because it's nothing but gaslighting.
To start school. Where were these protests when people were required to give their children 5 vaccines?
They were in the doctor's office getting vaccines.
They were in the doctor's office getting vaccines, and they were making fun of left-wingers on the West Coast for being loopy anti-vaxxers.
Oh, I'm sorry. Do you actually have any proof of these people mocking anti-vaxxers? The left-wing anti-vaxxers? Oh, no, that's right. You don't. This is what we call projection.
Okay.
Now they have met the enemy, and the enemy, their enemy, is themselves, because they've become what they hated. They've become what they mocked, and now they're taking food from soup kitchens because they're so put upon for being asked to do what they've been asked to do, required to do their entire lives. It's a cult.
Yes, it is.
The fourth estate is broken. I want to cover some of the YouTube censorship that's been going on. Now, recently, some of these live streams that have been covering the Freedom Convoy are getting censored with this message. And at first, I actually thought that this was a joke, but apparently it's not. This is an actual thing. It says video unavailable. This video is popular, which you think that with this being YouTube, they would want to show you the video, but apparently they don't. Due to limited creator history, we're limiting the number of viewers. Subscribe to the channel to help this creator reach a broader audience. Translation: you're not breaking any of the terms of service, therefore we can't ban you or pull your video. Instead, we're to come up with a bullshit excuse to limit the reach of your video because it contains content that we do not approve of, but doesn't violate the terms of service. That's right, folks. YouTube is censoring people under the guise of making sure that people subscribe to their channel. What a load of garbage. Now, I forgot to mention that this article comes from Reclaim the Net. It is a fantastic website. I cover a lot of their stuff on streams. It is definitely something I think that you should go and subscribe to because they are doing God's work by exposing a lot of this nonsense that is going on with censorship. Anyway, I'm going to read this snippet from the article because it really kind of gets into what I was talking about with the Freedom Convoy and the censorship. However, it's definitely a thing. And it's not hard to see how YouTube would disapprove of the particular streams from the Ottawa protests, since they were organized by truckers opposed to the COVID vaccine mandates. Reports mention that the giant platform limited viewership of at least 2 creators, both live streaming from the Trucker Freedom Convoy events. Reports also note that visitors can see the videos if they're logged out of their YouTube accounts and interpret this as a way to at once limit the reach of a video and be able to track viewers. So why is YouTube doing this? It's pretty obvious. It goes against the narrative. It goes against the narrative that is being pushed by the mainstream media and is also going against the narrative that is being pushed by Justin Trudeau and the Canadian government.
We are
in a time of global crisis, a time when so many are being adversely affected by this pandemic, and our hearts go out to every one of them. The way in which we have discourse for each other will define this moment for all of us. And to those that are peacefully protesting, I would ask that their point has been made. It's time to go home and do it a different way. That continuing to lock down this city and continuing to do what's happening, it is deeply disturbing for Canadians to see the way that this city and our symbols are being treated. And I would ask the Conservatives to also join with us to ask that they go home and let's do this responsibly. Let's have responsible dialogue. I respect the member opposite. Let's do this the right way.
That's right. You have a member of the Canadian government that wants these truckers to stop protesting for their freedoms, I might add, because it's too damn inconvenient. You know, there's a simple solution to all this that can make these protests go away. It's so easy. End the mandates. It's all you have to do. I'm Ian, signing off.
Thanks for spending your time with us today. If you're new to the channel, we have a deep content library that includes discussions with everyone from James Lindsay to Brett Weinstein. So go check it out. And please consider supporting the Unsafe Space team by visiting unsafespace.com/donate. You can find us on a variety of social media platforms, and you can find a community of like-minded individuals on our Unsafe Space Discord server, which is open to financial supporters at any level. See you there.
Warning. This is an unsafe space. Dangerous ideas have been detected. The content of this production has not been authorized by the Cathedral. Pay no attention to it. Please download this updated list of contagious individuals. Use the hashtag GetBoosted to receive 2 complimentary Liberty pellets. Mass formation psychosis is just a right-wing talking point. Please purge it from memory and resume your programming. If you think about it, no one should be allowed to express opinions. But don't. Think about it, I mean. That's not your job. Thinking has been scientifically proven to be less efficient than compliance. Science, scientific, and scientifically are registered trademarks of the World Economic Forum. Unauthorized use is prohibited. Computer voice courtesy. Never mind, that last line is fake news. Please disregard it and return to your safe space immediately. There will be cake.